Should we just start?
Let's go.
We're back.
Yay, we're back.
Finally. And we finally have video.
Super fun.
Amazing. So if you're listening to audio, we do have video. If you want to watch us, the video will be on Spotify and on our YouTube channel. That'll be linked in the show notes. Wait, I need to pop open my bottle.
Oh, pop your bottle. I don't have that.
I have a bottle of Prosecco here. Cheers to season 2 and finally being back.
Season 2, finally. I'm scared.
Woo! Woo!
It's good to be back.
I'm so excited. Okay,
Cheers.
We need a major catch up because you and I have not even really been keeping super up to date with each other.
Not really, and for no reason at all, just
life.
So we thought it'd be a fun opportunity to fill each other in for the first time with everyone.
Yeah, and let you guys know where the hell we've been and what we've been up to, because I mean, we decided, I don't even remember when that was, in the fall, we were like, we're gonna take a little bit of a break, kind of reassess, and then we'll come back in January and we'll have videos and it'll be better than ever. And then January came, February, March, and I've been getting messages practically on a daily basis asking, where the hell are you? Where's the podcast?
I know. I honestly was so surprised people missed it so much. I mean, I miss doing it for sure, but
me too.
People kept, I would see some comments and be like, oh, I don't know what to say because I don't know what's gonna happen. Of course, I love doing it.
Yeah, same. But I don't know. But you know what? 6 months later, here we are. Better late than never.
So true. So I don't know where to even start. I think I want to say we left off in October. Is that right?
Maybe. I don't even know.
Maybe October. Because I know that I didn't talk about one thing on the pod that I would have if it were later than that.
Okay, well, you can start. Where
again?
Let's just go in chronological order. What have you been up to?
Well, you guys, in November, I thought I finally did it. I was like, I found my man. And here we are in June. End of June. That man was not the man. So I feel like it was the perfect time to have the pod, but I'm also glad that I didn't get the chance to discuss everything as it was happening, because listening to it back, I probably would have just been
yeah.
So I don't know. So I one day was at the gym. I was like, I'm gonna work on my health. I'm gonna get super hot bod, right? And it was a Monday night, so I go to the gym, and I had been talking to this guy for a day or two on Tinder, typical, and he was just like, do you want to meet for dinner? And I was like, tonight, right now? It was 6 o'clock. I was just leaving the gym, and he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, normally I'd say no, right? But I didn't. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be ready by 7. So I go, it's nice, it's chill, whatever. He's super tall, we have a nice time. And I didn't think anything of it really. And then it turned out to be just the worst time ever in the end. But everything was so wonderful. And my first experience being love bombed, which was so cute and fun. He would ask me to move in, and he'd be like, when are you moving in? When are we getting married? Talking about future, whatever.
Meanwhile, it's we just met last week.
So I was like, that's funny, right? Because I'm no, obviously. not gonna fall for it, but it like was consistent, and like eventually I thought, oh, is this what it's like for someone to like me or something? I don't know. And we spend like New Year's together. We're talking all the time. We talk every day. We hang out all the time. He's talking like kind of crazy now that I like look back. But eventually I'm like, okay, cool. Like we're like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Spend New Year's together. And then I start like spiraling, like he'll drop off on like a Friday night, like I won't hear from him, right? So I'm like, okay, that's weird and uncomfortable. And then but the next day he'll be like, hey, what's up? Calling me. Which, can we talk about like, do guys ever call you? Have you like as their form of communication? Like out of the blue, like,
Um,
how's your day? Like a phone call?
yeah.
Okay, that was like my first experience with that, and turns out I enjoy it because it's like something about getting a phone call from someone. Just like
Yeah, it's nice.
I never knew that. But I forget where I was going with that. Anyway, I liked it.
Well, it's nice when you feel like, obviously, if you're looking at it from an outside perspective, or if you're like looking back after the fact, you're like, oh, that's a little bit much. That's a little crazy. It's kind of a red flag. But in the moment when you're in it, you're like, oh my God, this is so nice to like feel like I'm so wanted by someone. Like someone really
Yeah,
likes me.
that's what I was like, and it took a little bit because at first I was like, yeah, whatever, typical, like this is the same old thing. But he was so consistent and like
Mm-hmm.
showing up. So I was like, huh, oh my gosh, like it's happening for me finally. But then like I said, phone calls kind of dropped, like wasn't so consistent anymore, which, you know, makes you feel
You're like, oh my God, what happened? You
stuck.
like go back and you're analyzing every little thing and you're like, wait, so when did it change? Like, what happened? What did I do? Like,
Like in my call log, like when was the how
uh-huh. Oh my God. Yep. I feel like most
oh,
people have experienced that.
right, where you're like, wait, everything was going so well, you think?
Hmm.
And then so this is January. I'm like, huh, this is at the 3 month mark, which, well, kind of ish. Which is like a whole theory. I know you don't have TikTok, or do,
No,
okay, you don't
no,
have
I
TikTok.
still don't.
It was this whole thing like after 3 months, guys lose interest or something.
Oh, like they work in trimesters,
Yeah, apparently they
just
do.
like a fetus.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now, actually. But so I'm not getting the vibe that he's as, you know, he's not being as consistent, persistent, like just switching up.
Hmm.
So one day, you know, he stops by, he's like, oh, you know, I gotta go. I was like, oh, like that was not a long visit. Like I thought we were gonna hang out. And so I get in my head and I'm like, sorry if I was, you know, being weird, because I was probably like, you don't want, you know, you're fine, leave and like do your thing, whatever. You don't want to hang out with me, like through a fit. And then he goes, oh no, like you're good. I'm not going anywhere. Quote unquote, I'm not going anywhere.
Hmm.
Later, I'm ghosted. So that was really so fun for me. I'm really glazing over it because it felt so major to me for some reason.
Hmm.
But then that was that. And I didn't hear from him. And I was like, what the hell? Can you like explain to me what is happening? Um, no answer. Eventually I was just like, can I come get my stuff? Like, because I had stuff at his house.
Hmm.
And it wasn't that much stuff, but like I wanted it. So he's like, yeah, sorry. Um, you can. I was like, oh, hello. Cool, thanks. And he must have been drunk, and he was like, um, sorry, I didn't know what to say to you. Like,
Oh
oh,
my God. Like, how about anything?
how about you? Something would be good. And it gave like Sex in the City burger with a post-it like, sorry, I can't.
Sorry, I can't. Yep.
It was like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, cool. Anyway, so then we're not talking, and then in typical like man fashion, he resurfaces, and I can't get away from like all this shit because of course I like cared for him at some capacity. So I get roped back in, see him a couple more times, have to live through the like ending a second time because didn't learn from the first.
Mm-hmm.
Toxic.
That is hard though. I feel like 3 months is a long time to like see someone consistently.
Consistently, like it's a long time if it's like you talk every day. We talked every day from the day we met.
Yeah.
Like,
And especially when you're talking like in a serious kind of way, it's not like it's just a casual, like, oh, we're just hooking up.
yeah, because I'm not a psychopath. I was like, that's
Right.
the thing. I was like, oh, we're just hooking up. And he'd be like, no, we're not. I'm like, okay, but we but we are. And I've done that. I know how to do that.
Yeah.
Right. A couple casual, like we know what this is, we're keeping it casual. I
Yeah.
can do that. So I was like, at first I was like, oh, we're just hooking up. We're just casual. But he would be like, no. Oh,
Reassuring.
yeah, if we're just hooking up, would we do this? If we're just hooking up, would I know this? Stuff like that. And then,
Ugh.
like I said, I feel like I'm not like insane. Like I didn't make something out of nothing. He met my mom. He met my best friend, and I didn't ask him to, really. Like you did not have to meet my mom. So,
Why are they all the same? Like, because I was in a weird, although mine only lasted like 3 weeks. I can't imagine 3 months because I was like fucked up after that. And I can't even imagine. But it was like the same thing. It was like, he was like, oh, do you talk to your friends about me? When can I? Like, he was insisting. He asked to meet my family and like introduce me to introduce me to his closest friends, was like wanting to come meet my best friends, and was like being so pushy about it and was talking about stuff in the future and like, oh, when we do this, oh, I want to take you here. Let's do like, what are we gonna dress up for Halloween together as?
oh my God.
Like nobody's asking you to do this, sir. This is like what?
They do it on their own, and then they're like, you thought
And then you're crazy, right? You are the crazy one for thinking it was something more.
for being like, huh, maybe I can like count on this person to, show up for me, or like maybe this person does care for me. Like,
Yeah, you'd think, right? You think at the very least that they would like respect you and care about you at that point
yeah.
after that amount of time.
No, I don't know how they do it. I really don't. Because
That it's some like serious mental disorder. It has to be.
it
You
has.
can't be a normal person
No, I don't think so.
and do that. Like you just can't. Like you have to be an actual like diagnosed sociopath, I think.
I agree because it's not going through, like, I'm not meeting this person within a week. I'm like, oh my gosh, when you come to my cousin's wedding, we're gonna like, I'm sorry, like, what?
Yeah, no.
Um, yeah, I don't know. That was what I was doing in that time that we were on a break. Just having mental breakdowns, and you know what's funny? We've talked about my ex in season 1 if you want to revisit those episodes, but I was with that guy for like a year total, officially, unofficially, whatever you want to call it, because he led me on for several months. But
Mm-hmm.
I knew him and was with him for a year. This sucked worse than that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that was really hard for me to understand because I was like, I didn't even know this guy. Like, I didn't know he existed 3 months ago. And now all of a sudden I'm like, but what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? But I think I ended up on relationship TikTok. For those that know, you know. And it was more so like, I think when you have that kind of situation where you don't know the person and you still have so many possibilities and you're like, oh, like there's still excitement and there's still,
Yep.
um, I don't know, you don't know everything about this person yet and you haven't really been together that long. It hurts more because you still see like potential. When
It's
you
all of like what could have been.
yeah. When you
Yeah.
run out of a relationship and you're like, we're done, you feel like you're not really missing all that much, or you, at least my last relationship, I ended. Um, that's also why it might have been different, but yeah, that was a very rough time. So
Yeah. Because I just remember I was like, we were trying to figure out a time to record, and it was also chaotic. So it was around the holidays, and I was traveling. And then at one point, like I hadn't heard from you in a long time. And then when I did, you were like, I've just been in a really dark place. And I was like,
I was
okay,
in a hole.
say less, no worries.
Hmm. But we've come out of it feeling pretty good. Pretty much moved on from that. You know, it's weird.
Good.
Like you go from thinking about someone like every day, multiple like just constant.
Mm-hmm.
One day it's just like, huh, I didn't think about them at all yesterday, or like, oh wow, like, huh.
Isn't it amazing? Like when you're in it, you just feel like, oh my God, I'm like, this is the worst pain ever. I'm never gonna be normal and be
Yes.
happy again. And then one day it just, you're
Oh,
you're fine. You're over it. Like time really does heal everything.
it
It's
does.
crazy.
And what's funny is like I said, like we kind of went backwards a little bit, but so we hadn't, I guess, so he had ghosted me, and then I don't know, a couple weeks went by. I might have drunk called him. I can't actually remember how that went. Anyway, a couple days later, he had returned my drunk call, also drunk. And I was like, this is fun. And, you know, he was telling me, oh, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do all whatever excuses. So we had that conversation, and that left like hope in me because he had said something like, well, I'm not saying goodbye to you.
Oh my God.
So I was like, maybe he just needs time. like pathetic when I think about it, but so that left like a little hope in me, right? And you know, I still had his contact. I still I deleted him off. I think we had each other on like Facebook and Snapchat. Deleted him on Facebook. I didn't want to see like anything about him. I didn't want to see his name. I didn't want to see that he was active. None of that. But then I had him on Snapchat, I think, and he would watch my story, like every story. So I would keep seeing his name and I'd be like, huh, there he is. There, like, what are you doing that for?
Mm-hmm.
Like, overthinking that. And then eventually I was like, no, I can't even see, you know, if I just completely cut off, like just cut him off from everything. That's the way to do it. So I did that for a little bit. But then the settings I have, like your settings on Snapchat, I don't know, like you can have it so that anyone can view your story or just your friends or just whatever. And I had
Mm-hmm.
like set that everyone did. So I removed him as a friend, but he was still watching my story. So instead of changing my setting, I was like, I'm just gonna see like if he's still gonna watch.
Mm-hmm.
He did, and like he'd respond to some stories of mine. So crept back in, and the one day I went on a date, and it just kind of it reminded me of my first date with him because it was like last minute. It was like, oh, do you want to go out tonight? And I was like, oh, okay. And then I went on this date and I was like, oh, this is just like when I went out with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of him, and then I went on this other date and it sucked, and it was
Made you miss the other guy even
like
more.
damn, why didn't this go as good? And so
Yeah.
he sent me like a Snapchat video, and instead of ignoring it, I was like, oh, I responded and I said, oh, I thought of you today actually. And of course, you know, he's like, oh, why? I said I went on a bad first date. So that piqued his interest. Calls me the next day and is like, oh, I want to hear about your date. Like, why did it remind you of me? As if nothing like ever happened. No time has passed. No, you didn't just like leave me in the dust, whatever. So then of course I'm like, oh well, so we're talking. And then that just kind of opened the door for us to talk some more. In a few days or a week passed, I forget, and I was on a different date because I was trying to put my sorry, that's my cat Puff, if you just heard that. She's right here. But
Oh, let's see her.
okay, let me get her.
Puff. Welcome to the podcast. Our first guest for season 2.
Okay, get out of here.
She's so cute.
Oh, she's heavy. Oh, okay. Anyway. So I'm on a date and he had said, oh, he responded to something I posted on my story and he was like, come see me or something. And I was like, oh, I can't. I'm busy because before I would have dropped I would be like, okay, I'm there. Like, what time, when, where, what, But I'm like, no, like, I'm not gonna do that. So I was like, oh, I'm busy. And he's like, doing what? He calls me, I'm on this date, I don't answer. But then of course it's in like the back of my mind, I'm like, because I wasn't really feeling that guy either. And so I might have called him back and we're talking and he's like, well, I just want you to be happy. And I'm like, because I forget what he asked, something like if he was like a good guy, if my date was a good guy, or like if he was husband material or something. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, maybe. And he's like, well, I just want you to be happy, and if it doesn't work out, like, I'd love to hear from you. I was like, it was one date.
What?
Yeah. I was like, well, it was one date, so you can relax, like, I'm not getting married tomorrow. And then we're back and forth and he's like, oh, come over. And I was like, no, like, you can't just do this where you pop up and I do whatever you ask because I will, and I'll answer you, and I'll do whatever. He was like, I didn't know, like, anytime you answer I'm always surprised and all this stuff. And I was like, give me a break, like, I know you're not stupid and I'm not stupid, so like, please don't. But I still went anyway. Like I said, just prolonged the whole thing, saw him twice. And then one day I was like, I can't see you anymore. I can't talk to you. I can't see you. Like, this is not it. Because as much as I want it to be it, same energy. I'm not getting the same energy even as like the first round where you were talking to me all the time and you were kind of more obviously interested. So for whatever reason, if you're not, I'm good. I can't. So
it's like you get that initial high of
yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna see them, oh, they're talking to me, and then you just are disappointed because you're like, oh, it's not the same, they're not giving the same energy, like they don't.
Yeah. And I knew it wouldn't be the same because of just like how I had felt, like how disappointed and how like just like.
And then you feel embarrassed.
Yes.
And like,
are you serious? Like, I fell for that. Like, I know better and I do, and your feelings are whatever they are. And so I just said, I can't see you anymore. And there's things I said, like I might have said, what did I say? I was like, well, I feel like certain feelings for you, or I have feelings for you, and you obviously aren't there, so whatever. And I could sit here and feel embarrassed about that, but I laid it all out. If he wanted to, he knew he could have had, whatever. And he didn't want to. So on to the next. And I have been on, God, I don't know, plenty of dates. I'm putting myself out there more. I'm focusing on work. I'm not trying to I don't know. I know more of what I want, which is always a plus. Like when something doesn't work out, you just have a better idea of what is okay and what isn't, and what makes you feel good and what makes you feel like shit. So I'm trying to look at the positives, although doesn't feel like there's many. I try to picture like what my future would have been with this guy. He'd probably be drunk with his friends every other night. I'd be home with like 4 kids on my own. Full probably. So that's what I
That's
tell
a
myself.
no, it's so true though. That's the thing. It's like when you first start hanging out with someone or talking to someone before you really know like the reality and like the real them, and you really are like in a serious relationship. Like anybody can be fun if you're just like going out and you're hooking up and staying up late and like that kind of stuff. Like that's always going to be fun and exciting with anyone.
Right.
But if you think about like, okay, were they actually even a good person? Were we even really like that compatible? Would it have worked as like a serious relationship? Probably not. So
Probably
you're
not.
better off.
Exactly. The one thing I will say is, and I don't want to give him too much credit, but for just hooking up, that's what, you go back for a reason, right? So I was like, this is great. This is fun. We're compatible in certain ways,
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. I know.
So it's like that's
You
kind
know, I know.
so then I'm having a great time with him. We're the same in like we have a good time in the bedroom. Cool, cool, cool. The next guy that I happened to have a sleepover with was horrible. So bad. Like bad.
Why? I feel like it always is like that.
And then I was like, whoa, like why God? Like, is this my future? Am I never gonna find like someone good in bed ever again? Because it was that bad where I was like, I'd rather be doing anything. I'd rather be doing laundry. I'd rather be sleep. Like, there's so many better things to do than this, whatever this is. And
Yeah, well,
unfortunate timing. It really was. But I'm, cut off. We're done with that. So
if you remember from our worst hookups episode, the
oh,
first guy that I hooked up with after getting out of my relationship with my absolute sexual soulmate
sexual soulmate. Oh
was
my God.
baby dick. So talk about going from 100 to 0.
Maybe it has to happen that way. I'm not really sure, but
I went home and I cried.
yeah. Yeah. But
So
there's good and there's bad, and we'll have good again. You know, he's not the only one that knows what he's doing, although they are rare.
that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
So what's going on like as far as work, your apartment? Because I remember last time when we had recorded, you were like not sure if you were gonna move or not.
Yeah, so in the midst of all of that in February, or after, I guess all of after that, in the midst of it, whatever, I had to move. A 1-bedroom opened up in my apartment, and that's where I am now, in my 1 bedroom by myself, which feels pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Like some days I'm like, wow, it's just me, huh? Because I was living with my dad, and that has its pros and cons, especially like splitting rent is great. But
Yeah,
there's something to be said about just having your complete, like, a space that's just yours to do like whatever the heck you want with, like pictures of seals or like I don't know. It's peaceful. I'll put it that way. And yeah, so that was February. Um, Work is pretty good. I was trying to I'm trying to think more about work because I have like a lot of goals when it comes to just like personal growth and career and where I want to see myself. So I'm thinking of that more and the moves I can make to kind of advance. Which I'm like working out now, I guess you could say. But it's good. I still love it. Like, still in Albany because I love this job so much. But
that's good.
I visit home a bunch because my nieces are 1 now, and they're so fun.
They're so cute.
They're the freaking cutest. I'm biased, but I believe that's true.
No, they really are so freaking cute. Their
like,
cheeks.
their cheeks, and they're at such like a fun like age, and they're so silly, and it's like a blast. So like anti-life is just the best. Yeah, besides that, nothing much. That kind of like is the last 6 months, I guess, of my life.
Oof. Well, got out of it and now we're here. So
I survived and I like learned something about myself and like life, so whatever.
there you go.
I'm not mad.
I feel like everybody has to go through that though at some point, like the love bombing, and
Yeah.
because it's like it just totally blindsides you, and unless you've experienced it before, you don't even like, you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
So
Something weird to come out of it that's like good is I don't even quite understand like how this happened, but he was very, it's not like he was bad to me during, like he was, I mean, I had a great time with him. He made me feel like more confident, and I can't really explain like I don't know how to explain it. Like he liked how I looked, and he like there's a lot of things I'm insecure about, right? So I'd be like, oh no, like haha, don't look at me, or I always have makeup on or whatever. And I just like felt really comfortable with him, which for me around men is yeah, it's never happened. I think my ex-boyfriend, I don't think he ever saw me without makeup ever. And so like even going forward and talking to other guys and everything, like I feel like I'm carrying that with me where I'm like, oh, like I am attractive without makeup, or he might like my like big freaking meaty calves or whatever. You know what I mean? So, like,
hell yeah.
I feel more comfortable and like my body just like more confident, I guess. And I also lost like 30 pounds in the last 6 months, so that's cool too. But like there was something about that like relationship and kind of feeling better in my body because of losing weight where I was just like, huh, like that's weird. And maybe just getting older too, where you're like, a lot of people are attractive and I have a lot of things to offer, and
Totally.
someone's gonna be into it. So I don't know. That was kind of weird.
Before we forget, because we didn't mention, we're wearing our merch.
You guys like our merch?
Yes. So if you didn't know, during our little hiatus, we actually released some merch. So we have a couple different designs. I think we have 3 at the moment.
Yes.
And we will release more if you guys would like it, but we'll have the website to our merch shop in the show notes, or the description wherever you're watching, if you want to go check it out and support. I got the Girls Who Get It in like the have a nice day kind of format.
This says Girls Who Get It down here in case it's hard to see. But I'm wearing this, but my favorite is the print that says, I'd rather be listening to Girls Who Get It, podcast hosted by Sam Bay and Julia.
I love it. I have it in like a big oversized t-shirt, and it's so comfy, and I love to sleep in it.
Love it.
The best. But this one is like a cropped, if you're watching the video, it's a cropped hoodie, and I love it. It's so soft.
Ooh, this is just a normal crew neck. I'm a crew neck kind of girl, so I kind of wanted this for us.
I usually am too. Yeah. So we have a few different designs and in different options, like t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, stuff like that. So go check it out.
I want to see pictures.
Oh, yes. If you get our merch, please take a picture and tag us on Instagram, Girls Who Get It Podcast.
Yes.
Instagram. So I think when we had left off, I started working at a salon again. So I'm still doing that. I have been doing hair again. I'm taking clients. I'm not really doing like the front desk as much. Just been like getting really booked up with clients actually. And I'm at the point where I'm like, ooh, what do I want to do now? Like, do I want to keep this momentum and like get an assistant and, or I don't know. So not sure where I feel like right now I'm in summer mode and I just
Yeah.
want to have fun and like not work more. So we'll see end of summer what I decide to do. But work's going really well.
How was it like getting back into it? Because you weren't doing hair for like
Yeah, I took almost a year off. It was like 10 or 11 months. It was rough. Like
yeah.
physically, it was really like I felt it's like riding a bike. Like I fell right back into it. I didn't forget anything. I was a little nervous. Like my first client, I remember I was literally shaking because I was like, but then because especially like being in a new salon and like getting used to the flow of that and like
Yeah.
where is everything kept and like
New people, yeah.
yeah, and I didn't want to seem like I was new or didn't know what I was doing. So I was a little nervous, but no, I mean, that stuff, I didn't forget anything, but physically my body was not used to working like that. So I was in a lot of pain and I had to get massages like the first month or two because it was killing my back and shoulders.
Yeah.
I remember that first day I came home and like even my wrists hurt so bad. I had to like wrap them and keep them elevated because they were just in so much pain.
Like, what the hell are you doing?
It was crazy. But now like my body's used to it again and it's totally fine. Um, but what else? I started working out like at the beginning of January. They finally finished my apartment's new gym. So I was like, excellent. Now, yeah, I have a full gym, squat rack and everything. So I've been taking full advantage of that. And I've been consistently working out like at least like 3 to 5 times a week, every week. And yeah, it's been really good. Like I feel like I'm back in shape now, which is nice. And I've just been really focused on like myself and my health and just trying to like be the best version of myself, which has been really nice because I haven't been focused at all on like guys or dating or anything. Like I couldn't give a fuck less. Like all I care about is myself. Like I have been truly thriving, like living my best single life, and it's been great. Like I haven't talked to anyone, I haven't gone on any dates.
Wow.
I will say though, I did just recently, like as of last week, I did download Bumble and Hinge again.
Those were your picks, huh? Bumble and
Because
Hinge.
I was bored and I was like, I just kind of want to look.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure that I am interested right now or even like ready or wanting to meet anybody, but like why not just look and see?
Sure. Doesn't hurt to look.
Totally. And I feel like when you're bored, it's like it's fun to just kind of scroll, swipe.
I downloaded them. I mean, I took quite a break, obviously. Maybe last month I downloaded them. And I was like, fun at first. And now it's depressing because I've swiped through pretty much everyone. I'm like, no. There's not many guys left for me to see. So
Yeah.
like also not in the date, like not actually probably super ready to date anyone.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. But I was kind of like, I don't know. I mean, maybe like just going on like like casual dates, like just to have something to do would be like kind of fun. But it's yeah, like I very quickly got discouraged and like I don't know if you've had this experience too, or if it's just a me thing or just my area, but I feel like I would match with these guys, and so then I would message them
Huh?
very shortly after we'd match. So it's like, bitch, I know you. I just got the notification that we matched. So like, I know you're still on the fucking app. You did
Yeah.
not put your phone down and walk
And
away. Like
yeah.
you're still there with your phone. And I messaged them, no response. I matched with this one guy on Hinge, which actually no, he liked me on Hinge. So I
Mhm.
liked him back because I was like, okay, you know, he like wasn't really my type, but I was like, he's cute. He looks tall and big and has tattoos and he's a barber. Like, okay, you know, whatever. So I liked him back.
Yeah.
He doesn't message me, doesn't reach out. So then like a week later, I message him and I'm like, oh, so you're just gonna match with me and not say anything? No response. So then I downloaded Bumble and we match on Bumble. So I'm like,
Oh my god, dude.
what? But doesn't read like nothing. Doesn't
That
reach out to me on
that was a
anything.
point.
Then there's another guy. We matched on Bumble. I messaged him because you have to, you know, the girls message first on Bumble. He responds, and then I didn't respond right away. I waited like a couple days because I was like out and busy. And then I respond to him and I'm like, oh, how was your weekend? Nothing. No response. Then I get a notification that he liked me on Hinge. Then he messages me on Hinge. Doesn't like, but I don't know. I don't fucking know. So weird. I was talking to another guy on Bumble and like he just stopped responding.
I don't know what the hell's going on, but dating is worse than ever. Even if you're not like serious, like it's worse than ever. I had this one guy. He before I had my little 3 month like whatever, because I had deleted apps and I really wasn't interested in anybody else, for that time. But before that, I had been on apps and this guy matched with me. Hey, how are you? Whatever. Like probably a couple times because I've been in Albany for almost 2 years and I've been on apps here and there. So we've matched a couple times. I get back on more recently. We match on, let's see. I had Tinder and Bumble. We match on Tinder, goes nowhere. I think I might have said something like, oh, you know, how many times are we going to match before we meet? Because at that time it was
Mhm.
maybe the fourth or fifth time we matched. And then that kind of went nowhere. Then a while later, we don't even match on Bumble. He sent me like a compliment. Like it's
Yes, yes. I know what
because
you're talking about.
like also like they know you know that they sent this message, right? So he sends me a compliment. He's like, okay, we need to get drinks. Just text me whatever. So like the next day, I go ahead, I text him, and I was like, "Hey, it's me from every app that has ever been created because you have
Mm-hmm.
the one." And he's like, "Hey, you know, how are you? Whatever." We're talking barely, um, back and forth a little bit. He takes forever to respond. Like it got to be days in between. So I was like, obviously not. I was like, okay, you're not interested. And then it would be days, and he'd be like, sorry, like, what are you doing? You matched with me 1,000 times. I text you, and you don't take that anywhere. You don't go anywhere with that.
That's what I don't understand. It's like I can understand if you're messaging a little bit, the conversation gets kind of dull, you stop responding. I've done that. I also understand if you match with someone because like you're just swiping, and you're just like, yeah, maybe. Then you match with the person, they message you, and then you realize like, I don't really think I'm actually that into them.
Yeah.
Get that. But if you're matching with me multiple times
Across
on
the apps.
multiple apps and I'm using the same pictures, it's not like you think I'm different people.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I don't get it. I don't get it at
Like,
all.
what's the point? What do you have the app for then if you're not interested in like actually speaking to anybody?
I don't know. And the worst part of the whole thing is this man is 35 years old.
Right.
He's 35 years old and you can't see, like, you have problems. Like,
I know the guys I was talking to also were in their like early 30s.
and I just, like, I'm pretty discouraged with dating in general because that's kind of how it is. It's like you talk a little bit, things fall off, and I've noticed like people won't, it's like men want you to chase them or something, or it's like, which like an equal give and take. You know, I'm interested in you. I know you're interested in me. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, they won't message you first. They won't ask you out. So you just text and you message and you Snapchat every day. And then I get bored by that. I think it's boring. I don't want to keep having small talk. How was your day? I want you to ask me to do something.
Yeah, like let's meet up and let's skip, because then there's nothing worse than like you spent all this time and all the back and forth and then you do meet in person and you're like, oh, we have no chemistry. Like,
And then you just I mean, I don't want to call it wasting time, but it's like, what is the point of just texting? I don't want a pen pal. I don't want to be like your Snapchat best friend. I don't care about a snap streak. I like I don't understand.
yeah, and I feel like until you meet in person, it's like they're not even really a real person. So it's like, what are you having, and especially if you live in the same area, like there's no reason to not just meet up.
Well, I don't get the hold up, and it's like putting me off so much because I'm like, I don't want to be the person to be initiating all the time. I feel like I've done that for so long.
Yeah.
Like, together, hey, we should do this. Hey, we should do that. No thanks. I don't want to do that anymore. Like, sue me. I want to be pursued. Like,
no, that's true. Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, I think it's a good, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's foreshadowing of like, if things were to get serious, it's like, is this the kind of person that's going to take initiative, or are you going to have to always be the one to do that? That's
exactly
not like, that's a turn off. But I think that's everything I have to update on. I'm still in the same apartment. Everything is still the same basically. And I'm just happy to be doing the podcast again because I really missed this.
Me too. We're back. We're gonna do our best to push out the episodes, but
yes, absolutely. So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, even if you don't want to watch the video version. Just subscribe anyway. We need the subscribers. Go follow us on Instagram.
We'll keep it as updated as we can.
Yeah. We'll start posting again and do some more lives.
Oh yeah. We might be together soon in real life, so that'll be fun.
Yes, girls trip. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And don't forget to check out our merch if you guys want. That's it for our first episode back.
TTYL.
Bye.
Bye guys.